Okay. So I just don't see why. Like, I think a lot of these women during this time, from like reading their writings and stuff, they understand the natural order of men and women, like in a domestic sense. Like, men and women will fall into their places, like domestically, but as far as like politically, I don't know why we need like a patriarchal society for that. And I don't think that these like a lot of these feminists at the time were painted as like childless women or divorced or unmarried women somewhere, but many of them, especially a lot of the like the leaders of them, like Alice Paul and her husband, started I can't think of the name of it right now, but one of the main like associations for women's rights and stuff. So so why does the patriarchy have to be like a political structure? Like, do you? Because I'm pretty sure my belief is that, or from my understanding, your belief is that women don't have a place in politics and government and stuff. Yeah, I think everyone does deserve a say, especially if they're living under, forcibly living under a society that dictates their world around them, the food they get, where they can work, how much they can pay for, social programs, stuff like that. As long as we're born into these societies and we don't have an option to it's literally like illegal to live in the woods and make your own energy sources and your own water sources and stuff. So yeah, living off of your own energy is illegal. I'm pretty sure. There's like ways to get around it, but it's very hard and expensive. You have to like do it all yourself. So as long as we're like forced to live in these societies, I think everybody who is born into them should have a say. Also, yeah, the competency comes into the people who are like making the laws and working within the structure, but the people who are still being affected by everything, like levels of competence or IQ or abilities or not, you're still contributing and playing a part into the society. So I think, I mean, they have rights. Yeah, children do have rights. Of course they do. Children. Well, if you were to do something abusive to enforce those rules, then your child would have a right of protection from you. But also minors are different. Like, you're not a legal adult until you're 18 to make your own decision. Yeah. So to I'm going to answer your question with a question pretty much, but like, are you saying that the only people who should have a say in society are the people who maintain and run infrastructure? That literally the infrastructure that maintains the society that everybody is contributing to. Um, while I don't hold Kim Kardashian's value of contribution as high as Elon Musk's, I do think she has enough influence to be contributing to the society. Yeah, I think what Elon Musk is doing is more important and valuable, but we can't deny that Kim Kardashian has a huge influence on society, on people in it. frequency hopping frequency hopping was invented by a woman, which led to Bluetooth and Wi-Fi transmission. Grace Hopper also invented computer language, computer programming, all this stuff. The dishwasher was invented by a woman. Kevlar, bullet, like there's a bunch of female contributions. Also, do you not think that being mothers and wives in society is an important role? They are. Okay. So first of all, in this patriarchal society, like the one that I mean we're still I guess in a patriarchy, you could say, but like pre suffrage, the society, all these men that you're talking about that like work in the coal mines and stuff, they weren't the men that had much of a say anyways. It was always the wealthy men who weren't doing these jobs. So all those so then why are you arguing? So are you saying that we should reverse it and those are the guys who can like lift things and um I agree men and women are different. I don't think people are equal. I don't think anybody is equal, and I don't think gender is much more of a determining factor between differences than any other thing is. Like in brain research, the differences between a male and a female brain. Okay. 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 So for the many of the anti-suffragists were lobbyists. Wait, does this tie back to the occult? How can I tie this back? Okay, okay. Okay, so like it's just the light you're presenting it in. Like you are presenting it as if it's some like I said, this like astroturf movement that it sounds like you're kind of making it a very conspiratorial um uh view, like it was like pushed into society purposefully by these evil entities that are trying to like um you know bring Satan. I feel like you're like making it a war between like Satan and God, and these Satanists are trying to push feminism to like push the church out of society. Am I right about that at all? I think um it I'm sorry, could you ask that last question again? But it's not, I don't think it was a spiritual battle. I think it was a political battle that they could literally only use, they could, the only path to the political battle was through spiritualism, because all other mainstream religions didn't give women a voice. So the only religions that were giving women a voice and were allowing women to play a part in the church and have like give sermons and stuff was through occult religions. And when people started seeing that and spiritualism had an uptick, it was just natural. It was only like a natural way for women to start having a place, and these things like during the spiritualism kind of uh, yeah, when spiritualism happened like in the mid 1800s, during the same time as the women's convention and stuff, there was like a bunch of mediums and seances going on. But this was at the same time that electricity was invented. The telegram was just invented. Like these things was not. It doesn't seem so unfathomable all of a sudden. And then people were losing people in the Civil War. There was such high like mortality rates for infants and deaths for children and stuff. So it wasn't like this evil. It wasn't viewed as this evil like satanic thing that was happening, but it did give women a voice, and through that pathway, um, feminism and the occult kind of grew together. But it wasn't like this evil, spiritual, like political battle thing. In the Bible, wait, women can't. that's how revolutions happen. That's just how progress and revolutions happen. Like the point that um oh my god, there's so much. Okay, I don't know why you keep downplaying women's roles in society. Just overall, just because we're not strong, just because women are not strong does not mean we do not contribute to the society and have equal logistical thinking and creative thinking power and progress, like new think and like new ideas that can progress the society. I think that women's opinions and ideas are very valuable along with everybody else, and that's why we have a democracy, so that there's no just like, you know, small group of people dictating all of these laws and rules for people. We can vote together. So if somebody has an idiotic idea, it's not going to make it very far, because by the masses, we're all going to be able to vote and debate and choose which ideas we think are going to be best for our own society. Whereas if we go back to this, like, where we just let the strongest men hash it out and fight to the death over it, like, we're not going to get very far. It's not going to be the best for the masses of people. And we also have here's a quote from Katie Stanton: "Because man and women are the complement of one another, we need women's thought in national affairs to make a safe and stable government." The whole point was that once a woman got married, once she was married, she was basically absolved into her husband. So yeah, she could work outside of the house, but her wages would go to her husband. She couldn't sign a contract. She would be paying property taxes, and then none of those laws would be, she couldn't vote for those laws for the taxes that she's paying towards. So these are all there, and there's many other more. It's on the Declaration of Sentiments, resolutions. I think there was like 14 of them or 18 of them that they listed that these women were fighting for. That it's not like, also many of the anti-suffragists, a lot of them ended up changing to be suffragists over time, because they realized that the federal government wasn't just playing a role in international affairs and like war anymore. They had, because a lot of women so a lot of the anti-suffragists, I believe, they wanted to leave the vote, the women voting up to the states. And some of the states did allow women to vote. And the big thing was to make it a federal law, though. And over time, like, another reason, too, was, like, they didn't want black people to vote. If we gave women the vote, then we would give black people the vote and black women the vote, too. So, I don't know. I just feel like you're twisting all of these things to make them very evil when they're not. no, no, it's because as society, like we progressed. We went from freaking cavemen where we were rolling and battling with, fists, and then we had swords and stuff, and then we could talk, and like we just progressed. So of course, like we're gonna start off as other animalistic societies where we use force and patriarchies to rule until we start getting more intellectual and consciousness, and then we start including everybody, and like this is literally just the way of progress. And because people have only been around like what 30,000-40,000 years or something like that, or 60,000 years, I don't know, but not a very long time. So yeah, that's why we're only getting here now. But it's just natural progression. Every society has led this way. The only country in the world where women can't vote is Vatican City. So like, why don't you just move there? Like, instead of, dealing with. Progress towards a better society for all beings, all people, to the majority, to the masses of people, not just the elite, not just the wealthy people. Okay, well, first of all, like you mentioned earlier, you were talking about men's rates on passing on their seed or whatever. More men today have been able to make children. Yes, it's the highest numbers in history. More men today are having children than before. Women. No, I know force exists. I know force exists, but it's a better civilization to fight with intellect and not with bombs and swords and guns. And well, we do in this progressive democracy. And where are those wars happening? In patriarchal societies? I don't think women are more or less likely to wage war or more or less likely to be violent against each other. I think women are just as violent as men are, and if they had equal strength as men, I think they would be committing the same amount of violent crimes and doing the same amount of, you know, evil, physical, violent acts. So I'm not arguing with you there. I just, let me see if I can like tie this back in. I don't think. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, I don't really have, like, an exact name, but... So, that's what I most associate with, I guess, is, like, Wiccan. But, so, in, like... So, Well, that's the thing. I don't want a Wiccan society. I don't want a society that's ruled by any one thing. I just want people to be able to be free to believe what they want and not have to force other beliefs upon each other and be fine with that. What do you what do you think the reason for these wars is because religion is trying to rule society. That's the reason for most of these wars. So if we just stop, yeah, if we actually separated. World War II, you could argue, yeah. Yeah. Ex- there's still going okay, there can still be wars, but many of the fundamental like causes of these wars and tensions between countries is because of religious beliefs and just countries trying to be like, hey, my way is the best and get out of here. It's just like all this like egotistical just nonsense to me. So in a world, if we're all accepting, there might be war. There's probably still going to be conflict. Yes, probably. But the ideal would for there to be not would to progress to a society where we can like be accepting and live along each other. And yeah, that's very like idealistic and very like fantastical whatever. But like that is the goal, and working towards that I don't think is a silly or stupid thing to work towards, even if it seems very out of reach right now. Yeah, I do. We try to get to the core of it, the core cause of it, and treat it. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of different causes, but one cause is unacceptance and not understanding of neighbors and each other, and like egos, strong egos, believing that like I'm the best and I'm the only and right way, and I need to change everybody else, and I can't live with people who don't agree with me. I think that's one of the probably I've I don't really know. I feel like I'm like center left. So I I don't I don't think that violence is completely useless. I'm like typically against it, but I think there's still use for it when necessary, like when fighting evil per se. But that's the hard thing too, is like defining what's evil and what, because something that's evil to somebody, like for example, like 9/11 seems like a pretty evil thing, but they thought they were doing the right thing by trying to like get rid of Western society. So they thought that was like a positive thing. Okay, okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. But like my point is like the perspective of what's evil and what's good, what's right and wrong is going to be different for everybody. So my belief system would be like my ideal world would be to do, I guess it's like a consequentialist or something. It's like to do what doesn't hurt other people, as long as you're not doing anything that harms or prevents other people from bettering themselves and living an okay life, then that's like the ideal. Um, Back in the day, probably not, because they came from like the like Nordics, and the Vikings were like super. Yeah, the Vikings were very like violent and like did some terrible shit. But I would say today pagans like overall like are very very peaceful people. Yeah, like most Christian people are too. But when we have people in power that are trying to dictate society with these religions and telling people to live this way, it causes a lot of tension. And there's more beyond that. Um, Christians are doing to non-Christians abortions. Abortion rights, probably. Yeah, love, who can get married. Yeah, and then women's roles in society. I'd say that's like a good amount of shit. Okay. I wouldn't have to though. I don't have to. You're the one trying to say that it shouldn't be legal, and it isn't this, it isn't that, and it shouldn't exist. So I don't have to justify it. I'm letting people do what they want because they're not hurting other people as long as they're two consenting adults. Whereas you're trying to prevent people from doing something. It could even be occult pushed, perhaps you could say. Okay, I never said it's not hurting anybody, but just because some parts of something might hurt some people doesn't mean that we should just illegal like make it completely illegal for everybody, right? Like fast food. Two biological sisters. Um, because they're family, and typically family, like, yeah, I don't know, it's just morally wrong. That's why, like, I believe morals are like pretty innate. I mean, to be honest, they're it's pretty weird, but they are lesbians and they can't have children and hurt anybody else. So I guess, like, you do you. But like, if it were a brother and sister and they were to try to have children, then that would hurt the children because it's gonna mess up, the DNA. Kind of weird, but yeah. But how often is that happening? That's not happening like all the time. It's not. Okay. No, he is hurting those. He is hurting those kids. That's going to mess them up by seeing that. Well, it depends how he's showing himself, because I personally believe that we over sexualize human bodies. Like, I'm for nudist beaches and stuff. If he is showing him, no, I'm not trying to grab people's butts, but I think it's harmful the way that we over sexualize natural bodies. So if he was to show himself to these kids and he's getting off on it and his penis is clearly like, get in there, like, that's gonna be bad, and that's we shouldn't allow that at all. But if he's just naked on his front lawn, just sitting in a lawn chair with a beer, I don't think there's a problem with that personally. In a non-sexual way. In a non-sexual way. I which state was this? I don't know. I guess. Well, I guess the people didn't agree with it, and um, I don't know. Gay marriage is a federal law now, right? You can federally. Yeah, but because it doesn't hurt anyone else. Because it doesn't hurt anybody else. So, well, no, it's democracy when it's like, if they were to start taking firearms away from people, if they were to start like federally banning that, each state has its own firearm rules and regulations and stuff, and we can move to the state that we agree with or whatever. But if they were to federally take that away, now that's going to affect everybody. But gay marriage doesn't like cause people to like die or not be able to protect themselves, or like essential parts of living. Um, okay. So I've never been jabbed. I was laid off twice because I decided not to do that. I did. I think the initial lockdowns were pretty appropriate, and the mask wearing and social distancing. I think that was like pretty fair for a pretty like unknown situation that was happening at the time. I do think many of the rules ended up being very stupid and just didn't make sense. So I had an issue with that. I would have had an issue with mandates for them. Yeah, that's fine. I'm in Philly, PA. Well, I think that would be unjust. Pretty much. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I just don't think we should shame our bodies. Yeah, I think that's another part of like the occult and stuff that is seen as like, oh, free love, and it's so evil, and it's just to like empower women through sex and stuff. Like, first of all, none of like, I don't know, none of that is seen. Like Wicca and paganism, they view the masculine and feminine as equal. They rule separate times of the 6 months of the year. They're equals. It's not like women like hating men. It's all toxic masculinity and stuff. I'm sure there's some radical feminists and radical witches and stuff who do that, but I would argue that they're not true. They don't follow the true like path, and they're not reading the actual word. Um, no, but probably at the time it probably fit the context at the time, because many of these women did believe that once you were married, you were basically dead. You were basically dead. You were basically absolved into your husband, and you had no rights anymore if you were married. So that's why I think it's funny too. You were saying it was just like these lower class like women who the lower class women were actually had more equal rights to the men. Yeah, it was the more privileged women that didn't have the rights. No. No. Most of these women had husbands and children, though. I don't want everyone to be pagan, though. That's what I'm saying. I don't want anybody. I don't. No, no, no. I don't think. I don't think that. I'm fine with practicing your religion and having your beliefs as long as they are not affecting other people in a negative way and ruling people in politics and government. I don't think personal beliefs that literally nobody can prove should be dictating the laws of the land for the masses of people when nobody can agree on them. I don't think there's necessarily an objective right and wrong, but I do believe there are a fundamental objective set of morals. So I think they're innate within humans and they come from just a conscious experience that we have, that we grow, that comes from things like empathy, fear, love, um, anger. It's just things that are innate within us, in our conscious beings, that I don't think we need religion to have moral principles. How? Can you explain how Christianity? I think you're conflating I think you're conflating morals with values. Like morals with values. So I believe that we have innate morals within people. Like we don't need religion to realize that killing somebody is wrong. I don't think we need religion to tell us that killing somebody is wrong. And that was a very primal civilization that we've grown out of. I'm pretty sure Christianity borrows a lot of pagan. Okay. Well, we have Ostera, Easter with the eggs. It comes from spring all of a sudden, and Christmas happens to be on December 25th, Yule, and All Saints' Day. It's similar symbols and everything. They did twist everything though. They did twist things. They did twist things. They did twist pagan gods, the horned god, into Satan and the devil, just because paganism's worshipped a horned god for the hunt, because animals that they hunted had horns, and now that's the devil. Do you know? Um, um, what was that? What was that called? Inquisition or whatever? Like, or the fucking Christians came into Spain and all these like we can say all of these ancient religions. That's why I'm saying progression is the way to move forward. We shouldn't be regressing. Like, we can conserve some things. It's not human sacrifice, and most they're no, they're not really. Maybe. Even if they are. Sure. Okay, sure. They're humans. They're humans. They're humans, okay? Yeah. And guess what? No, no, nobody wants to get an abortion. Nobody wants to get abortions. Literally, nobody wants to get an abortion. Just because it happens. If they, no, they love it. They do it for fun. Okay, if people, do you think the majority of women who get abortions are doing it for a ritual? No, it does matter, because there's also Christian people who fucking put black people and gay people like in nooses, or they attack them, or they want to like they shoot. Yeah, there was like that Christian man who went into a grocery store and killed a bunch of black people. And then there was some people, yeah, gay people get attacked all the time by Christian. It's like in the right. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. We don't have to. We shouldn't. What I'm saying is we can't argue with these exceptions to say that this is all bad. If people are using abortion to force sacrifice, then sure, like, that's wrong. We shouldn't do that. Just that would be my belief. But the majority of women aren't using abortions as sacrifices. It's not. And that's what I'm saying. But that's an ancient belief, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's not the normal, though. That's not the normal. No, that is not true. I'm sure it exists, and we can find lunatics across all different types of any types of person, any type of belief. There are fucking lunatics, and those are the people that, in my ideal world, the law would deter from allowing them to abuse and use. But women who just need an abortion, for the majority of women who get an abortion already have children. First of all, it's their first abortion. It's not 1 in 3 women that have abortions. That was a predicted estimate from like the 80s or the early 2000s or something like that. I don't know why Pearl keeps spewing that over and over again. That's not a true fact. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think arguing with these extremes is reasonable, and most people don't want abortions. I mean, if you simply okay. And like I mean, I could read you like text. We have the Principles of Wiccan Belief from the Council of American Witches from April 1974. These are all completely peaceful. It's a list of 13 of like tenets basically. There's nothing about hating men. In fact, one of them is the number 4th one. We conceive of the creative power in the universe as manifesting through polarity, as masculine and feminine, and that this same creative power lies in all people and functions through the interaction of the masculine and feminine. We neither value above the other, knowing each to be supportive to each other. We value sex as pleasure, as a symbol and embodiment of life, and as one of the sources of energies used in magical practice and religious worship. Is that evil? Okay, is that sure, that's your belief. Sure, that's your belief. That's fine. That's fine. You think that's evil. Well, no. So most witches like white magic, you don't put spells on other people that don't consent to it. So, but there is sex magic. It's the same as like tantric, or I don't know. There's some like Hindu stuff and whatever, like tantric sex. I don't even know if that's Hindu. Sorry if that was offensive, but um okay, yeah, but okay, so you think sex magic is evil. That's fine. Do you think this is like bad, that the masculine, do you think this is like harmful to men? This is hurting men. This is like this is having men and women be equal, is some kind of like forced, evil society movement or whatever. All men have to do that. Everybody has to do that. Nobody's equal. We work together. We work together. Just because nobody is equal doesn't mean that only the strongest people. They don't have to. Women don't. Oh, sorry. I was on mute. Okay. Yeah, so for my closing, um, sorry, I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna read some from some feminists and then some, like, Wiccan texts and stuff, just to, like, further trying to show, like, my beliefs and my moral values and why I don't think that this occult, cohabitation with feminism is evil or hating of men, and why I do think it is a conspiratory view to have this, like, occult feminism perspective that Rachel has. So, Mary Wollstonecraft, from The Vindication of Rights of Women in 1792, wrote, "Let there be no coercion established in society and the common law of gravity prevailing. The sexes will fall into their proper places. And now that more equitable laws are forming your citizens, marriage may become more sacred. Your young men may choose wives from the motives of affection, and your maidens allow love to root our vanity." I think that as a feminist, one of the very early feminists, saying that is very beneficial for men and women. I don't think that's hating men at all. I don't think that's anti-marriage. I don't think that's anti-children. I think that's the complete opposite. And there's many more, like, texts like this throughout. I read one earlier from Katie Stannon saying that men and women, you know, they're complementary to each other. So all these feminists were not man-hating women. They did not believe, not all of them believed in the dissolution of marriage. Many of them had many children. We also have to take in consideration when we think about the evils of abortion and birth control and stuff. I forget her name exactly right now, but Margaret Sanger. Her mother, her mother had 18 pregnancies and gave 11 births, and she was the one to, like, start the Planned Parenthood stuff and all that. I'm sure she had issues of her own, but these things weren't coming from a place of evilness or, like, free love and sex and power over men. I just don't think that is it. I don't think Rachel has proven that or displayed that in any way. And finally, I'm just going to read two of the tenets from the Wiccan principles. "We do not recognize any authoritarian hierarchy, but we do honor those who teach respect, those who share their greater knowledge and wisdom, and acknowledge those who have courageously given themselves in leadership." And then lastly, "Calling oneself a witch does not make a witch, but neither does heredity itself, nor the collecting of titles, degrees, and initiations. A witch seeks to control the forces within her himself that make life possible in order to live wisely and well without harm to others and in harmony with nature." Seems that those are, like, the core fundamentalist beliefs of most spiritual religions. Wicca, paganism, spiritualism, all the mysticism, they're very peaceful, positive, all loving, all inclusive, just beliefs. There's nothing evil about them. Sorry, I really hate reading. Okay. And then lastly, my grandmother too, she's 89, and I'm her oldest granddaughter. She pulled me aside, like, one day recently, maybe like a year ago, and she was like, "You're so lucky to grow up in the way that you have so many opportunities and so many chances, and I really love seeing you, like, blossom into the person you are, and it's so great seeing, like, my granddaughters being able to live in this world. So, you know, your grandmother might have a different perspective, but there were women who felt oppressed by the patriarchy, old ways of living." Yeah. That's it. I do. Yeah, if you do it correctly, I do. Oh, also, I just wanted to say thank you for having me on. That was part of my closing statement, too. I forgot. Okay. to make it grow better. So I guess my intentions is what matters. So if my intentions is to, I believe you have a lot of responsibility when doing magic. I think doing it silly-willy is very dangerous, and I don't suggest that people or encourage people to just go practice and try magic and get crystals and things and just do things without knowing what they're doing. If my intentions are good, it would be white magic. It would be white magic that had a negative consequence. And usually, when you do magic like this, you add protection spells and things like that to prevent, negative consequences from happening like that. Yes. Yeah. Um, yeah, I would do what if I caused something, if it was that devastating, I would do something. Yeah. Who has? Probably, yeah. I mean, I can't think of an example. I mean, that's never happened. I've never caused anybody because I know what spells I've never done anything to that level, so um there are some, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but unintended consequences are something to be taken very seriously, and that's why a really important part of spell casting is being very specific with your words and using your words very wisely and not allowing for any nuance or variables when you're spell casting. Um, if 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 they could offer their help or their assistance, yeah, if they cause damage, then yeah. So when like I wouldn't burn them at the stake, but a death penalty. I mean, you would have to be a pretty powerful witch, and I if you're doing that on purpose, then definitely like the death penalty. If you do it by accident, it's like I guess it's like manslaughter. Like, wait, wait, what? They didn't though. Okay. If you were if they could prove that these witches were had ill intent and were maliciously killing people and stuff, then sure. I think burning people at the stake is a bit like inhumane. But sure, for the time, I guess that's how they did things back then. But they couldn't prove it. They weren't proving it. I thought muting was bitch shit. Just kidding. Me? Oh. I don't have TikTok. I've never had a TikTok. So if I had to choose from the two, probably cereal. But I eat a lot of cereal. That's a pretty nuanced question. I think that depends. So when did I use it specifically? Do you know? What is harmful? I think is more so. I think it's good is not harmful. Harmful is something that affects other people in a negative and painful or suffering type of way. because it's hurting other people. And it basically, because pain and suffering is bad. Okay, so that's why I said it's very nuanced, but basically my moral belief system is that do unto others what you want done unto you. The golden rule, Girl Scout, simple. I don't think feminism is the consequence of those things. I think there's other factors that are causing those things that I don't think it's related to feminism. Okay. Well, I also don't think lower birth rates, or at least like later in life birth rates, or just lower birth rates are that bad or harmful, anyways. For the economy or for. Just because we can't replace the baby boomers doesn't mean that we won't be able to continue. Maybe humans are freaking pests and termites to this world anyways. It's just natural, it's nature's course, honestly. So whatever happens, happens. Only army I would fight for, Team Earth. What was the. Can you read the sentence again? Yeah, so she's basically saying that men aren't choosing evil because they're evil, because men aren't innately evil. He's choosing it based on. Basically, I would. Probably ego. You're choosing money, selfishness. Yeah, it's like it's ego, drive. Ground. Wait, what? What do you mean ground? What was grounded? Oh, probably Christian ethics. Well, I haven't read a lot of her works. I just found a couple quotes and stuff, but uh, she seemed to be pretty based. But what was your what was it? She okay. Probably not. I just don't think that's relevant to modern day abortions. That's what I'm saying. It's an it's an innate set of morals. Yeah. Because Christians were cooping just their siblings together, so they were only dating each other. The Mormon world. But that's based on religion. That's a religious set of moral values. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Mute. Yep. Oh, man, I looked up the definition of patriarchy earlier, and I should have put it in my notes. I just want to be precise with these things because lots of people use these terms and they have different meanings and stuff. I guess Okay, so yeah, I just don't think one sex should be ruling of another. Yeah, I consider myself a feminist. Yeah, feminism is gender equality. So as I was trying to say earlier, like people, nobody is equal to anybody. There are no two equal people, but we can be equals. But just because two people can run the same distance or run the same speed or have the same IQ or be from the same family, nobody is equal to each other. We all have different capabilities and abilities and contributions to society. So we are equals in that sense. Do you think that's true? Because I think the patriarchy is the imbalance, and I don't think most women are naturally nurturing and super soft and just ew little girly polite little things, and I don't think most men are just super violent and aggressive. I think that these gender tropes and these old gender traditional gender roles and norms are hurting men today more than anything else. Family court, domestic violence, yeah. I I'm wearing a shirt and I have long hair, so I'm feminine. And I'm a female. That's fine. I'm very happy. I'm in a very happy relationship. Just got an apartment with my boyfriend. I'm, I, I, yes, I see men and women are different. Yeah, she can, but that other witch who has less power could get to the point of having equal power or more power. It's within all of us, yeah. Which one would be more powerful? Um, the killing the babies would probably be more powerful and much more evil, though. But it's kind of like if you guys have seen like Harry Potter, it's like the death of the unicorn. Like Voldemort has to like take a soul to have more power and stuff. Like that's why they had human sacrifices. I mean, it sounds silly, but like human sacrifice and it is a very powerful and no, it doesn't. I'm just using it as an analogy, okay? But like that's where they got it from. I don't know what that is. I don't play D&D or whatever this is. So, I don't think so. It does. Like, really? I don't know.